Hey guys, it's Brooke here from the Vintage Gardener. Welcome back to my channel. My little pooch is joining us today. He likes to sit in my lap. Hopefully he won't try to lick my face. So anyway guys, today is part 2 of the video that I posted on Friday. At the end of that video, I had mentioned that I wasn't getting a lot done because I was going to be going to some garden tours with the Hardy Plant Society. Hardy Plant Society is made up of people from New Jersey and Pennsylvania, and thus far the tours have all been in Pennsylvania, though I have been assured they on occasion do them in New Jersey. And the great thing about that is that a lot of the people who are in these groups are big into DIY. And so although certain things like maybe utilities and whatnot, they'll have a professional do, there's a lot of things they're doing themselves. They have their own unique situations in their yards. And so sometimes people come up with some really creative ways to address problems in their own yard. And so it's just nice to see people who think outside the box. So I'm going to show you the videos of the garden tours. After I show you the 6th, I'm going to show you a 7th. A few weeks after the main tour, one of the members opened her garden for tour, and so I went to that too. So I'm going to show you the video, and then I'm going to come back and show you the pictures and give you my a more in-depth look at what I thought of how they did things and that sort of thing. So I'll see you guys in a minute. Okay guys, so I'm at the first location, and all I can say is I definitely want to move to Pennsylvania. Look, because this is like an old neighborhood. Look at the age of this neighborhood. I'll be quite honest, it seems like a lot of people around here have a lot nicer gardens than what's in New Jersey. I don't know, people in this state seem to like to garden. So anyway, it's like these streets are very narrow, so I had to park. I couldn't park on the street that I needed to be on, but that's okay. See this sign right here, it says the Hardy Plant Society, to let me know where to go. And so make sure I don't fall down these stairs. Okay, so I'm supposed to be going down here. So it's 1803. There's a lot of hills in PA, so I have to sign in at the first place and then get a little wristwatch, and the next place is around the corner. So this is really, oh wow, that's a nice vegetable garden. Okay. Ooh. See, this is why I like the Pennsylvania houses are very nice and old. Okay guys, I'm on my way back to the car because the next one is like a 4-minute drive, and I don't feel like walking. So what can I say about both of those gardens? They were absolutely amazing. They were very well established. Both of those were shade gardens, so it definitely gave me some good inspiration to do the shade garden, the woodland garden that I want to do. Yeah, so they didn't have much lawn, which I really appreciated because you know me, I'm not a fan of lawn. So I'm gonna, rather than try to walk to the other one, I'm just gonna drive so I can get there much more quickly. And then it's because I want to make sure after this one I'm going to, I have to drive a little bit farther distance to get the other ones. So this is what I like about the garden tours, is that, let's say it's 2:32. So if I do the other one, then I feel like I can give myself an hour, some time, a little bit to get to the other 3. And then I have to be at Hope Lodge for the luncheon. And the plant giveaway. Because let's be honest, guys, That's what I really want. So, all right, it's time for me to run down this hill in my dress. Okay, bye. So so this is one of the pictures that I took. This was the first garden. I know you guys in the first segment, I was walking to two gardens, and I think I was talking about how you could get to one garden through the vegetable garden of another, that sort of thing. So this is the clematis in that vegetable garden. I did ask somebody what this clematis was called, and to be quite honest, I completely forgot. So if you're watching this and you know what this is called, can you leave a comment? Because I definitely want to get this one. The one garden, once you went through this vegetable garden, I had to duck down between some trees. It was actually really cool. It was kind of like going into a secret garden. She had a lot of hostas. She had a lot of astilbe because once again, it was a lot of shade. And she had a lot of Asiatic lilies, which seemed to be able to handle some part shade. So it was really nice. So I'm planning to do a woodland garden. So astilbe is one of those things that's kind of on my, I should probably do it, but I'm definitely going to do it. She had huge drifts of them, and it was just nice color for the shade. So that was my takeaway from that garden. So then the next door, they weren't really neighbors because basically there was this little weird side street between the two of them. It was really interesting how the houses were set up. So they had a pool, and as you can see from these pictures, and let me see if I can zoom in on it a little bit. Okay. Oh, I can. This is great. Okay. As you can see from this picture, they pretty much guarded right up to the edge of the deck for the pool. And so I know one of the gardens I went to last year had the same thing, and it was just it was very thick, it was very lush. I mean, obviously there's trees back there, but it's still, because of the plantings and how close they were and how tall they were, it just gave a sense of seclusion. I'm a little annoyed because I thought I took a picture. The people at this house had this one Asiatic lily that was over 6 feet tall. And at first I thought it was one of a tree lily. And they were just no, it's just a regular lily. And they said that they brought it from their last house and it was normal size. But then when they put it in this location, it just went completely crazy. So they attributed it to the soil, which I know from personal experience, your soil makes a huge difference. At the same house, and actually at all the houses, they had a lot of hydrangeas. Yeah, they did. As a matter of fact, the one lady, she had a really small lot. She had different types of hydrangeas, but for a few houses, they seem to be, I don't know, they really, at 4 of the houses, they really seem to like the lace cap hydrangeas. And of course, because in this area, our soil tends to be acidic, it's really blue. But yeah, that was really, really pretty. And actually, let me see if I can blow this one up too. There we go. I just absolutely love this look. So yeah, so pretty. Okay guys, I'm at the next location. I probably could have walked it, but it's so hot today. I'm glad that I didn't. I'm actually making really good time because I got here kind of late, but it's 2:37. And so once I do this one, I can go to the next set. So actually I'm here. I'm right here. So, ooh, guys, hang on. Oh my gosh. Is that an oak leaf hydrangea? Oh, that is beautiful. What's that? Ooh. Look at that, guys. Ooh, shit. So guys, this is amazing. I'm not gonna show you anything because I'm just gonna focus on me, but it's not that big of a space, but the way they have meandering paths through the woods is phenomenal. There's a lot of astilbe hoping not to get some of that. But it's very private, but it's beautiful. So beautiful. Okay guys, so I'm at the fourth house. The last house, that was amazing. That was a acre. So it was, they have an acre, and apparently they help garden. There's a school garden and a church garden behind their house, which is an additional acre. But that was an acre garden. It was woodland. The thing about it is that they had very little grass, and they just had little paths everywhere. And so, you know, I know typically with gardening, people will say, oh, make sure, you know, you have a 3-foot walk. It wasn't like that. They were very narrow. They were footpaths. And of course, because it was wooded, you know, I think they mulched everything. And so it was great. So I'm really enjoying this tour of Pennsylvania because, like I said, I do want to move to Pennsylvania. And this is just giving me a really nice view of what various sections of Pennsylvania are like, because this is considered Philly. Yeah. So anyway, I'll see you guys later. Guys, so this was one of the pictures that I took as I was walking through the wooded path, and some parts of this kind of reminded me of the bank of hollies that are back here, because, like, for example, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, almost 7, and I actually have 7 trees in a row. And so as you can see, it's really a really narrow walking path. Pretty much the walking paths were the width of like the flagstones. Like, for example, right here, it wasn't very wide. Yeah, people had to walk, you know, one behind the other. And I know they typically tell you, oh, make them 3 feet wide so people can walk from side to side, whatever. I think they do it because they're like, oh, it'll be easier to talk to people, but you could easily have conversation walking single file. The thing that I liked about this garden is they had a lot of rooms. There's just so many different segments, and sometimes what they use to separate the room, like in this case, was like really taller shrubs, or like there's like a dwarf tree right here, because it kind of like, if you can see my cursor, it goes around this way and kind of loops around. So that was nice. And let me see the next picture. Yes. So here's more of the flagstone. As you can see, like the plants kind of will come. I personally think, I do believe they actually thinned and mulched this right before we got here. I have a feeling that things pretty much came right up to the flagstone, which was pretty cool. This particular house was on an acre lot, but there was a church and like school behind his property. And so that was an additional acre of land that they actually let him garden. And I think he did I know he did stuff with the church, like where he kind of took care of the gardening for them because he wanted more space. So I totally get that. So basically he really had like 2 acres essentially. This is another picture. The thing that I liked about this garden is that it was like the paths honestly were just all over the place. It was just so serpentine. As a matter of fact, when I got there, the one lady was like, oh, you're going to be here for a while. And I was like, well, what do you mean? And she's like, oh, just wait till you see, because you know, you had a path that came right here, kind of went around and ended up over here and went off in this direction, but then there was a path that went into this direction. So you were frequently getting to forks in the road, and you definitely had to double back to make sure you saw everything. And so after I was done, I was like, oh, that's why she said it's going to take that long, because it really did take too long, because it wasn't just like a winding path where there was just one way to go around it. You really were kind of like, okay, let me go back around this way. Okay, I'm back at the same point. Okay, let me choose this, you know, branch of the path and see where this goes. So I like that. Okay guys, so I just finished the 4th. I've got 2 more to go, and thankfully these people are like neighbors to one another. They're like 2 blocks apart, so Just one more, just two more. But so that one, that was a much smaller garden, but it felt so much bigger. And I think the reason it feels so much bigger is because the owner sectioned a lot off. So you were definitely in rooms, and it just gave it the appearance of being huge, even though it wasn't. Okay, so this is the third. Was this? Okay, so wait. That garden was the third garden I went to. This was the fourth garden that I went to. I think. Yeah, I think this was the fourth garden I went to. Y'all, I'm losing track of how many gardens I actually went to go see. Yeah, because there's only 6. So yeah, I think this is the fourth one that I went to. Okay, so this is a path that's divided, and that was another thing with the dividers. They created rooms by, for example, just putting posts and attaching wood boards to it like they did in here. Let me show you another angle of this one. Okay, so that area that we were walking in through here, yeah, that's I think it's right here. So where this bush is, that's where that was. And it was she did have a lawn section. It wasn't really that big. From the backyard was well, we are in the backyard, but the back of the house was like right here. Okay, and you walked down this path and through here, and this is part of the lawn. And then you know, when you're walking down that path, for a second, I can't go back to the picture, then you end up here. Okay, and did I take a picture of I don't think I took a picture of the fountain. Okay, that's unfortunate. Let me see. Okay, and this also is part of the her backyard. What it seemed to be is like this property was very deceptive looking, because based upon what you see, it looks like this property actually goes really, really deep, and it really doesn't. And I think what gives it that illusion is all the trees, because you can't see the fences. You have these paths and you kind of can't see where they end. So it gives the illusion of it being actually really, really, really deep. And it really, it wasn't. It wasn't that deep. And once I actually started looking for like the boundaries, I was like, oh, you know what? That's actually not that far back in there. It's just that once again, like having rooms in the garden, it gives it a perception of being much bigger than what it actually was. This is a path that kind of goes around. It was almost I would say hemispherical. It kind of went around this section right here, like this path right here. It like kind of continued all the way around. It was very like a huge like hemispherical path. And so it was really nice. Okay, here we go. I thought I took a picture of the fountain. This is the fountain when you first walk in. It's a little fountain and pool. You guys know I like that because that's what I have, much bigger fountain and pool in my front yard, but I really, really liked it. And this is one of the side paths. She has a couple of little side paths you could walk. And for some strange reason, I don't know how it happened, I could have sworn that I had taken more pictures. And you know, I know my phone updated, and sometimes I find when the iPhone updates, it deletes pictures, because she had and it's like almost like it was an obelisk, but it was like a tripod, meaning it had 3 legs, and it was like 9 feet tall. And I was morally certain that I had in fact taken a picture of that. And you know, it doesn't seem like me to have only taken these few pictures. And so I'm thinking that when my phone updated, it must have deleted something, because I was morally certain that I had more pictures than this. So This one was a nice.
Okay, so that last one was a twin. So it was a very tiny garden. And there was a lot of people there, so it was kind of hard to get in and out. But I'm walking to the next one. All of these really are within like a mile or so of each other, which is really nice. So I was kind of thinking, oh shoot, I really started too late, but actually, it was fine. We could really do. Last year they were a lot more spaced apart. So this section kind of reminds me to a little bit like Wilmington in some ways, kind of the setup in the field, because it's really old houses. But obviously it's different because the plantings around here are different, because obviously North Carolina has a different is in a different zone, and they have more southern plants. But like there's a lot of lilies, there's just actually a lot of stuff. So I don't know, like I feel like people in Pennsylvania garden a lot more, because I've never seen, I'm sorry, I'm sweating so hard it's running in my eyes. I've never seen this level of gardening in any New Jersey neighborhood. And the thing is that people here seem to have a lot of front yard gardens. So with what I've done in my place, I don't think anybody would bat an eyelash, really. So it's really nice. I mean, I wouldn't want, I like it. I mean, it's a nice development because it's old and well established, but I want more space. I want to farm, y'all. So anyway, I'm getting close to the last house. Okay guys, so I just finished the last garden. Oh, thank you. And that one was, she had a really deep backyard. So it was really interesting because it dawned on me once I finished it that the path you're taking to get back to her garden, that was her driveway. So, and she has like a garage, but she turned it into like an art studio. So it was really deep. Once again, it was a shade garden. No grass. That was a no grass design. I didn't get any pictures. There's too many people. I wanted to take a picture because she has like this round planting area, and then she almost had like a diamond shape planting area. It was really, really cool. So she apparently goes with the palette green and white. So everything, all the flowers were pretty much white. She has some humongous hostas. And so yeah, so anyway, now that's done and I'm off to the lodge so we can get some food. Definitely a lot of inspiration here. That's one of the great things about coming to these. I ran into some of the New Jersey gardeners. So this one woman's like, let's do a garden tour. She wants me to root some cuttings, and you know what? I don't have time, but you know what? If she wants some, what I'll do is I'll just tell her, hey, I'll tell you when I'm cutting them back. You can come get them and you can root them for yourself. Because it's not like I don't have enough to share. So I'll pitch that idea to her, because I actually did start taking cuttings, and I actually did have one that's got a nice root on it. I didn't really do it well, but then again, I've been so busy concentrating on other gardening projects. I haven't really been able to do it the way, give it the care that it deserves. But some of the chrysanthemums I'm actually going to be digging out and bringing inside. And so when I do that, I probably will have be able to take some cuttings and give it more attention. So, but yeah, when I get there, I'll just say, hey, because I'm going to clip them probably next weekend. So when I do that, I'll just be like, hey, come over, I even have rooting hormone. I'll be like, here, go ahead and dip them. I'll give her some root by it. And that way I'll let her see the book in terms of what I have, and she can go from there. So, whew. But she wants to come see them in bloom, which is totally fine with me. I mean, I don't care. I'm more than happy to have somebody over to see it. So I think she wants to start like a tour for the New Jersey people, which I think would be a really great idea. Because New Jersey, especially in the southern part of New Jersey, it's a little bit more spaced out. So definitely a lot more driving. And sometimes I know with PA people, they act like, cross the bridge to New Jersey. It's like, dude, it's not that bad. So anyway, lunch is usually pretty good, and then of course there's a plant giveaway, and of course I always stay till the end, because anytime you stay to the end, you always get more free plants. See, I know how this works. That, ladies and gentlemen, is how I end up with all the plants that I do. So yeah. So anyway, I'll check in with you guys later.
The last two gardens were really small. The one garden had so many people in it. It was really, really tiny, and there were so many people jam-packed in that area. I couldn't even take a picture. She had no grass. She's the person who had a lot of different types of hydrangeas. The sixth garden that you hear me talk about, she basically changed her driveway into a walking path. She went with like a green and white theme, and it was just very, very naturalistic and very, very, very wild. And despite the fact that it was it was more of a like a suburban / urban size lot, you could have played hide and seek with a lot of people in that garden, because of just how how very natural and wild the plantings were. It was a little too monochromatic for my taste, but I did like it.
Okay, guys, I'm at Hope Lodge. Kind of drove past it. Actually, my GPS was hopelessly lost finding this place, so it is what it is. So anyway, I'm ready to get in. This is a historical site. Apparently, there was a battle during the Revolutionary War that was fought here. It's closed today because we're invading, that sort of thing. So it's it's all good. So anyway, I'm just going to put my hair in a half pineapple so I can get my hat on properly, and then head on in. This is the first place that's had a bathroom for us to use, so on one hand I was trying to stay hydrated, but on the other hand I didn't want to drink too much because then I knew I was gonna have to pee. So anyway, okay, good, there we go, my hat's on better now. So anyway, guys, I'll check in with you guys later. So guys, this is Hope Lodge. Look at this garden. Nothing is blooming right now. You know me, I love a tiered garden. And so these are the herb gardens. Oh, it's mercifully in the shade. On my way to the restroom. And then it's time for me to head on back to New Jersey. So I got an oak leaf hydrangea. It's amethyst something. So it's I think it blooms in fall. And then I got a heuchera. Not a heuchera. Hosta. I'm tired, y'all. Yeah, so when I get home, I'll do a final wrap up in terms of what I thought.
The thing that I walked away with from this was specifically with vegetable gardens, because, I know I mentioned in another video that big tree was taken down, which is why I put the vegetable garden where I did. And it's 25 by 25. And of course, when I remove the pavement, I can expand it to that side. But that's going to be fine for raised beds, but I do like growing pumpkins and things. And so I don't know that pumpkins are going to work in there because they're going to take too much space. So one of the things I had considered doing even before I put that over there was having two different vegetable gardens, because on the far side of the drained field, there are some areas where I had enough space away from the drained field. I could have gone like 15, 20 feet over, and I could have had in-ground plantings and basically, just to let things sprawl. And I was like, oh, but I think it's going to look kind of weird if I have, two, vegetable gardens that are like not connected and that sort of thing. And that was the thing that stuck out with me with this particular house. For example, let me show you right here, because that right there was this right here, it was a vegetable garden, and over on this side was the vegetable garden. And like I said, I'm pretty sure I did have pictures of it at one point, and I'm really annoyed with my phone right now. But those are vegetables. So she has two little segments with vegetable gardens. Like I said, the path in the back right here is hemispherical, so they were kind of like pie, like, you know, pie, like a slice of pie shaped, because they were kind of like round, like, you know, a chunk of a pie. And it was really, really interesting, very, very unique looking. The other house, this one right here, they had a lot of, you can see they got a lot of shade, a lot of shade. And so what it looks like they had done, which is actually exactly what they had done, as that if they had spots that were full sun, that's where they plot their garden. And so some of the full sun spots were really like 10 by 10. So they had multiple little vegetable sections, and just following the sunlight. So it was the most unique thing I had ever seen. It's a smart use of space. So if you are like them, where you have, you know, mature, very mature trees on your property and very little sunlight, you don't have to feel like you have to put everything in the same spot. You can, you know, you can kind of tuck it here and there. And it was just really interesting. It was really interesting. It was really fun. So with my own vegetable garden, like I said, I've got the area 25 by 25. I can expand it back. I don't know that I'm going to do that, because once again, you know, on the side of the drain field where I have the current garden, to be able to plant something in ground, I have to go really, really far. Whereas on the other side, I have a lot more space to do things. So I'm thinking about having what's directly outside my backyard be where I have things like my fruit. So for example, my strawberries, my blueberry bushes, you know, some raspberries, you know, any fruits that I can grow in pots. So for example, like the phenomenal figs. I do have an espalier apple tree that I'm planning on growing in a huge stock tank that may go in there. And, you know, and things like, you know, lettuce and that sort of thing. But especially with things that are vining, you know, and particularly because it's really important to rotate, do crop rotation. I think it will be nice to, on the other side of the drain field, have a patch like for, you know, like squash, because I can probably do a couple different patches. But the other thing is that I'm definitely going to be mixing edibles in with the ornamental part of the garden. So for example, where the parterre garden is, I'm going to expand to the side. I'm not going to continue. I don't know that I'm going to do another parterre. I mean, although I guess I could, but I know that I want to put dwarf trees in that section, or even some of the like bigger trees. Because, for example, I have a pawpaw tree, and I would like to, I haven't put it in the ground. I would like to put it in the ground, but I will have enough space over there to put it in the ground. And so I think it'll look fine to have, for example, an apple tree or a peach tree, you know, growing and basically having, you know, more ornamental plants around it. You know, I'm probably going to be sticking to more dwarf things, or plant or trees that have been espaliered into, like for example, they have a column espalier where literally it's an apple tree that has one single straight branch with just like clusters of apples, you know, up and down it and things like that, so that I can have some, you know, some variety. So that's what I took from these, is that, you know, with my vegetables and my produce, I can segment it a little bit more. I mean, heck, I mean, even in the parterre garden, you know, if, you know, I may, you know, I do have space to put, like, for example, I could put a small, like, espaliered apple tree or something in it, one of the ones that's a column in there. So, you know, I have options, and one thing I saw with these garden tours is that I need to be a little bit better with thinking outside of the box and not feeling like, you have to have ornamentals or strictly edibles. You can kind of do both. So the last garden on here, sorry about that, guys. Gotta scroll back the other way, is the one that I went to see in July. And this was July 16th, as you can see from the date. And this is a small urban lot. Once again, there is that illusion of this being a much bigger garden because of the way they've got, the evergreens here, the way that there's dark shadows back here. It kind of looks like it just goes into a dark wood, although it is a dark wood, like there's a fence back there that it's hard to see from the picture. She had a grassless design. One of the things that the people in the Hardy Plant Society, a lot of them are really big on not having grass. So a lot of them are making a concerted effort to remove all of the grass from their property. So and I like that idea. They're like, oh, you're going to fit in really well with us. So she had basically gravel paths with some slate, and then there was this pond in the center. And so basically it was just kind of like circular. It was very quiet, very peaceful. So I took a close-up of the pond. She had some evergreen interest. She had, she had color. This, I think she said, was called purple squirrel tail, and I really thought it was cute, and I really would like to get one. I didn't search for it yet, though. I took a picture of the pond. There's little goldfish, and there were some frogs in there too. Oh yeah, wait, is that one? Hang on, let me zoom. Let me make this bigger. Yeah, there we go. There was a frog, and there were a lot of frogs in here, and quite frankly, they were so noisy because he was not the only one. They made a huge ruckus, and it's amazing how something that small can make that much noise, but they really did. And then let's see. Second, what's going on? Is that it? That can't be it. Okay. So she did a nice planter with coleus. I need to be better about doing planters. And then, so she had some red Nicotiana. It was really, really pretty. I have some lime green Nicotiana seeds. Did not plant them this year. I'm gonna have to do that next year because I did like it in person. And she said it has a lovely fragrance at night. This was just a side view where that's Nicotiana there. One thing I noticed about pictures of gardens is that, in person, this was actually a really colorful garden, but it's just something about pictures. It's just like the green of the foliage jumps out a lot more than the actual color of the flowers do. And this was a very, like I said, it was a really colorful garden. So it's nothing wrong with her garden. I'm just disappointed. It bothers me when you take pictures of certain things. It's just like, to me, in a picture, it doesn't accurately convey the amount of color, because I feel in real life, the colors of the flowers stood out more than the greenery. I took a picture of this because I want to get one of these. It's tropical. I'd like to put it inside. And this is what her seating area looked with. First of all, I love the stone because these were all older houses, and I just love her collection of pots. And that's something I would really like to do outside the back door on the brick patio area. And this is after I left the tour. It's at Hortulus Farm, but that's a topic that's a video for a different day. So anyway, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed that. I really enjoyed doing member tours. If you guys have not joined a plant club or garden club or some sort of horticultural society, I strongly recommend that you do it. I mean, in addition to the fact that it's a great way to get free plants, there's a lot of people who are very experienced gardeners who can answer a lot of questions for you. The other thing is just, it's nice to have these opportunities to go and see what other people did, how they approached their process. And quite frankly, I mean, you know, my yard is plenty big, but you know, these yards, well, most of the yards, except for the one guy with the you know, who had the acre and then the other lot, those yards were substantially smaller than my property. But despite the fact that they were smaller, they felt so much bigger than my property. But it's just the way they did it. It just, like I said, making rooms in the garden, that compartmentalization, you know, because I guess it's like, okay, well, when you keep going through room after room after room, it's just like, I think that tricks your brain into thinking that, you know, it's so big, I've gone through, you know, 7 rooms out here rather than just one big open space. You know, and the other thing is that because of how things were planted and the fact that you really couldn't see from one side of the garden to the other, it just kind of looked like paths were just kind of like going off into the distance. And that also gives the, you know, the illusion of things being bigger than what they were. So anyway, guys, that's it for this video. If you have any questions, leave them in the comment section. I hope that gave you some ideas and helped you if you were thinking, you know, if you had any problem areas of how you had to do it. And, you know, I'm going to keep on touring gardens. I do want to reach out to a couple people who are members and ask them if I can, you know, visit their gardens and take some video footage. So that would be kind of cool, and I think you guys would enjoy that. And if you are local to me and you've been gardening for a while and you want me to come over and feature your garden, just leave a comment because I will totally do that. So guys, thank you so much for watching. I will see you in the next video.